exciting episode of The Market Link. It's the state opening of the National Assembly Parliament here at the National Assembly House in Banjul. The President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Adam Barrow, will be here to give a statement, and of course, he also doubled as the Commander-in-Chief of the Gambia Army Force. National Assembly Cabinet members, the Speaker of the National Assembly, and members of the Diplomatic Corps will be here present. As usual, Affinity Production is on ground to bring you highlights of every activity that is going on here today. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. I'm your presenter, Binta Jani.
Fresh boy on the beat. Release this beat without the tags. Fresh boy on the beat. Fresh boy on the beat.
National salute! Present! Show that and
president just came in, His Excellency Adam Barron. So sit back. I still remain your host, Maxi Alexander. I'm still reporting in Gambia. Thank you very much.
To form the much needed human capital that will drive the country's development agenda. In our first 100 days, a new youth empowerment project initiative supported by the EU was launched at the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment. The objective of this project is to improve the skills of potential youth workers and prepare them, especially returning young migrants, for the labor market. Through the President International Award Scheme, 60 youths were recently enrolled to undergo skills training in a range of technical and vocational areas, like auto mechanics, carpentry, and secretarial work. It is encouraging to note that the National Youth Council coordinates the civic education program. This is aimed at mobilizing our youth to participate in politics and to assume their rightful role in the country's development process. The Council have helped craft a youth agenda for government's consideration and is working closely with the International Organization for Migration. This capacity building initiative also sensitizes young people to the dangers of illegal migration to Europe. The Ministry of Agriculture has begun a program of support to farmers and farming businesses to improve seed input, modernize cropping, plowing techniques, and enhance planning in the face of climate change and other hazards to agriculture. Already vegetable seeds have been distributed to 11,200 farmers, as well as 22,500 kilograms of rice seed. Tourism. Our historic political transition took place during the peak of the tourist season. Tourism contributes significantly to GDP and is a critical source of employment and government revenue, as tourists are naturally drawn to our warm and friendly shores. We have begun to re-engage our key markets. The implementation of new strategies to enhance culture, tradition, and the arts as channels for new tourist inflows is already underway. The major craft markets at Bangalow Beach Hotel and Fajara Hotel have already been upgraded. Madam Speaker, while we were initiating our policy and reform agenda, we have also been reforming ourselves within government. We inherited a highly politicized regional administrative system. It was presided over by governors who owe their allegiance to the APRC. To improve governance and stop wasting resources, my government appointed 5 new governors whose terms of residence clearly exclude them from engaging in partisan politics. We have encouraged them to follow proper civil service conduct, which embodies neutrality and impartiality in performing their functions. In normalizing the civil service, we have established a panel to review the wrongful dismissal of civil servants and other government officials between September 1997 to December 2016. For the first time, this audit includes the security forces, the army, the police, immigration, prisons, fire and rescue service, and the state intelligence service. The objective of the audit exercise includes identification and elimination of ghost workers, the recovery of wrongful salaries, and the updating of personnel records. Let me proudly acknowledge the support that my government received from our UN partners in the area of administrative reform. It is also important to report that as part of the reform, my own office, which was directly coordinating and supervising huge number of public enterprises and other state agencies under the former government, has been decongested and those institutions streamlined with their line ministries. In conclusion, While we have taken this opportunity to reflect, my government will continue to focus our time and resources on a clear agenda. We shall create a foundation on which future progress will be built. I commit to you to pursue this agenda with greater transparency and accountability, more than ever before. I will continue to update you on progress throughout the year. This is a new government and a new era. And as your president, I am here to serve the Gambian people. And now, by the powers vested in me as president, it is my pleasure and privilege to declare this historic session of our National Assembly in the new Gambia formally open. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much.
My viewers, the meeting was really successful. You can see the whole Gambians are happy. Mr. President Adam Barrow just finished his speech, talk about tourism, which you know that Gambia is a country of tourism. Mr. President Adam Barrow is working towards the tree planting. The people, they are all looking very beautiful and they are all happy. I am happy too. I am privileged to be in Gambia. I still remain your host, Mercy Alexander, on the gallery.
The President of the Republic, Mr. Adam Barrow, for delivering the State of the Nation address in the 2017 legislative year, which is a statutory duty. You will also agree with me that the address had comprehensively outlined government's policies and programs, are thoroughly scrutinized and debated with due diligence. As this is His Excellency, President Adam Barrow's first time of addressing this August Assembly on the agenda of the executive arm of the government, it is important for us to have a clear understanding of our national goals, values, and aspirations. Honorable Minister for Women's Affairs and Overseer of the Office of the Vice President, my Lord Chief Justice, my Lords Justices of the Superior Courts, honorable members of the National Assembly, honorable ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Bar and the Fourth Estate, venerable religious leaders, traditional leaders, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for gracing this auspicious occasion in the calendar of the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia. By extension, honorable members of the National Assembly, I would also want to thank Gambians and non-Gambians from all walks of life for the impressive turnout. As Speaker of the National Assembly, I am humbled, deeply touched, and gratified. And I hope and pray that this support will extend beyond this day. To my honorable colleagues of the National Assembly, I want us all to remember that nation building is an enormous task. As a key stakeholder in this process, I pray that our deeds and actions are guided by justice towards the common good. May I also thank all those who in various ways contributed immensely to making this day a success. I pray that Allah the Almighty bless and guide us all.
The event is based on Section 77 of the Constitution, which empowers the President to address Parliament if he so desires. And in that address, he lays out the policies of his government in the short run, medium term, and long term, if he so desires. And that's precisely what he has done today.
Sure, in the House.
Well, as you can see very correctly, that the executive is given authority to come up with policies, come to the National Assembly to seek funding for those policies, and implement those policies. So the National Assembly has the role of scrutinizing whether those policies will address the needs and aspirations of the population.
Sure.
In 2 days' time, we'll be debating what the president has said here. And that is the importance of the National Assembly. You will have the position of overview. If I was part of the executive, well, I will not have that power of reviewing the whole policy of the government.
Sure.
Now, as a National Assembly member, it means that the president has indicated what the government intends to do. Now I'll be able to analyze it comprehensively, and it is left to them to listen to my analysis and pick from it what will be of significance to be able to come up with better policies or better methods of implementing them. That is one objective. Two, since it is in the National Assembly where we review the budgets and see how the allocation would go, by being here, I will be able to examine whether the budget that they presented to us will serve the public interest or not, and express my views. They may be able to take from my views what will help them to reform that budget and reform their priorities. Thirdly, laws start with bills brought here. And unless the National Assembly members pass the bills, it will not become law. They will not become law. So it's my duty then to be scrutinizing those bills, which will determine whether we have liberty, or tyranny, prosperity, or poverty. So essentially, in my reviews, I'll be able to really indicate clearly what is in the national interest. That's why I'm here. And I believe at the end of my mandate, people will determine whether I have done precisely that. So that's a larger question, but I believe the current dispensation is to open up the debate, because you have a government which should deliver services, better education, better health, better road condition, better waste disposal facilities. You can see the president did not even touch about waste, which is very crucial. So it means that therefore my role would be to help the government to really understand what it needs to do in the short term, what it needs to do in the medium term, what it needs to do in the long term. And you know that the short term, we need a national debate on what form of constitution do we need in terms of constitutional reform. What type of institutions do we need in terms of institutional reform? What type of managerial practices? What type of civil service? Should we pay drivers less than 1,000 a month? Messengers 1,000, less than 1,000? What should be the salaries of teachers to make them really be committed to their work? What about employment? So these are the issues that we now need to review as a people concretely, because you're inheriting a state. So what you need to do is to review what exists and how do you improve it in the short run, and how do you improve it in the medium, how do you improve it in the long term. This is the debate that all Gambians should be engaged in at this moment. We should not be conclusive and say, I have all the answers, but I have answers, and others have answers. Let's debate which answers are the best. So from my point of view, the fundamental task now is how to get the Gambian people to move from poverty to prosperity. The last word is simply a new Gambia, but we need a new Gambian. A Gambian who will ask every political party, what is your policy? How do you intend to end my poverty? How do you intend to enlarge my liberty? How do you intend to benefit my children, benefit my parents, so that they'll be able to take better care of me, education, etc. So what we need now is a Gambian who questions, not an emotional Gambian who just simply protests. Let's question and let's search for answers. And I believe collectively we will see the truth. And if we all adhere to the truth will set us free.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr.
All right, thank you.